Hey, so I heard something big's been going on with social media lately. Just can't quite put my finger on it. Something big in social media that's been happening over the last couple days. Just, hmm, I know.
Greetings, program!
So, yes, we're talking about Elon Musk buying Twitter. And what I'm going to be talking about is an article from King5.com, the local Seattle affiliate for NBC. And we're going to be talking about their FAQ, frequently asked questions. Everything you've been wondering about Elon Musk buying Twitter. And with that, we have Elon, buying Twitter via his own personal money, and then various other entities coming in to help pay for it for $44 million. It was announced yesterday, Monday, the 25th of April, that the Twitter board has agreed to the purchase. So, there's some basic questions. Who owned Twitter before Elon? What will happen to Twitter stock for those that have Twitter stock? Where did he get the money? He has just short of $300 billion in net value himself. He included his own cash for 2/3 of the price, so $21 billion. Another $12 billion in shares from Tesla to be used for secure loans from several banks, including Morgan Stanley and Bank of America. And the remaining money comes from Twitter's own assets. Sorry. Allergies are getting the better of me today. Anyways, my big question is the highlighted section here. Why did Elon Musk buy Twitter? Musk, a frequent Twitter user, describes himself as, quote, free speech absolutist, end quote. I forgot the A at the before the quote, but he describes himself as a free speech absolutist. He has, in the past, criticized what he views as the excessive moderation from Twitter management. While his private motives are a mystery, his frequent and sometimes controversial tweets have fallen into the, quote, not quite illegal, end quote, category that he at times argues to be allowed. Not quite illegal. Well, what is not quite illegal? It's that basically that area where if the government can't prosecute you for it, it's not illegal. I.e., when it comes to free speech and things like that, we have the right to say our mind as long as we are not calling for violence, bodily harm, or to a person or property, etc., against a person. That being said, if it's illegal, he doesn't want it up there. And I think that's a very rational point. So, quote, if it's a gray area, let the tweet exist, end quote, Musk said during a TED conference. It's not for the money, though. Twitter lags behind other popular sites such as Facebook and Instagram, both in users and revenue. Well, again, Twitter wasn't necessarily built to make money in the same way that they are. It's built to make money in different ways. So, yeah. Didn't Musk try to buy Twitter before? Well, yes and no, as we're going to read. Earlier this year, in March, Elon Musk revealed that he had bought 9.2% stake in Twitter. That much stock earned him a seat on the company board, although Musk declined it after initially accepting the role. The reason why he recanted his exception is because of what they talk about. Shortly after, he floated his first offer to buy Twitter, buying out the shareholders at $52 or $54.20 per share. In response to the unsolicited bid, they adopted a poison pill defense, where stock in Twitter would splinter if Musk ever owned more than 15% of the company. It wasn't just Musk; that would have been to any persons. So, Musk, undeterred, instead put together his best and final offer in a bid to take the company private instead and circumvent the poison pill. Monday, the board accepted that second takeover offer, with shareholders getting the same amount per share as in Musk's original offer. it was after he rebuffed the board that they put in the poison pill, but slightly before the public notice of his offer. So it's kind of wishy-washy, but and being pedantic at this point. But the point being that Musk did offer them money. They're like, no. And just because of that, now we're going to try and, so you can't hostily take us over via buying stock. We're going to put this poison pill. But that poison pill did affect any stockholder. So not just Elon. So the reason why is because they were afraid of Elon either outright buying more than 15% or using other companies like hedge funds and things like that to buy more stock. So the last little question here is, will Twitter change now that Elon Musk has bought it? Elon says he bought Twitter because it's not living up to its free speech principles, and it could potentially change some of the platform's disinformation rules. Okay. This I agree with, but I also don't think that it's necessarily going to go the way that people think it's going to go. As being on the App Store for Apple and Google Play and things like that, there are certain terms of service that applications have to abide by just as much as the end users do. So with that, don't expect a radical change in everything, but do expect that, as far as Twitter's own policies and banning procedures, there might be a change. One of the most notable things that people are talking about is that former President Donald Trump was banned and that he could be back. It's one of those. It's one of those things. It's a gray area. We have to look at the full thing. And other right-wing figures such as Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene. But even if he does, Trump said he won't return to Twitter and plans instead to use his own Truth Social platform, despite continued problems with the platform since it launched. Musk has also promised to crack down on bots, publish the site's algorithm as an open source code, and possibly even add an edit button to tweets. Thank God if we get the edit button. If nothing else, you free some of the free speech stuff and we get our edit buttons, I will thank you, Elon. But overall, I think that Elon buying Twitter is going to be a good thing in the long term, communication-wise. Is it just to get the free speech and an edit button? No. I heard an interesting thing on Timcast. I've been doing a lot of citing of Timcast lately in my stories that I'm blogging and things I'm recording. But when I hear something new for the first time and it sounds interesting and it's coming from them, I'm obviously going to cite them. So on last night's episode of Timcast IRL, I don't have the episode number in front of me. I will probably add it here in post. But Tim and crew were talking about, what might be some of the alternative reasons for Elon to buy Twitter. And one that was floated by a hacker source, a hacker news source or something, was that because of bandwidth limitations between spacecrafts and Earth and potential colonies on Earth, such as on Mars, Twitter's character limit is by far one of the better, how do I put it? Is by far one of the better options out there for social media, for us to be able to interact with those colonists and for the colonists to interact with us. So take it for what it's worth. I don't know if that's actually one of the reasons, if at all, or if maybe now that he's heard about it, he's like, that's a good reason now to add that too. But the point being, let's let time pass. Let's see what happens. Nothing happens in a vacuum. Nothing is certain. I can sit here and try to predict. Yeah, he's going to bring back Donald Trump. He's going to bring back everybody that was banned for political reasons that weren't actual violation of law. So like any Taliban accounts that were banned because, or Al Qaeda accounts that were banned because, beheadings, things like that. Obviously those are going to stay gone. But Alex Jones might be back. Trump might be back, etc. So just take it with a grain of salt. Don't go run around like the world's on fire and we're all going to burn and the rapture's coming because Elon Musk has bought it. But I really hope that change comes and it can show that we don't have to have a left-wing social media and a right-wing social media where we are spending our time saying which one's the best. Let's make a public square where we can talk our ideas through. And if you don't like the conversation you're having, either don't engage or mute or block somebody. So that way you don't have to hear about it. So with that, thank you for watching. Keep an eye out. I am starting up rebranding my Subscribestar and everything. And yeah, we will see you in the next one. Peace.